Before we begin, drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from and what time it is right now. Let's see how far this story travels. The sun was setting behind the tall windows of the Blackwell mansion. Everything looked perfect. The floors shine like mirrors. The paintings on the walls cost more money than most people earn in their whole lives. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, throwing little rainbows across the room. But Rosa knew something was wrong. She had been working as a maid in this house for 6 months. She cleaned the rooms. She made the beds. She cooked the meals. And every single day she watched little Emma. Emma was 7 years old. She had beautiful brown eyes and curly black hair that bounced when she walked. She loved drawing pictures of butterflies and singing songs about flowers. She should have been happy. But Emma wasn't happy. Rosa noticed things, small things, scary things. Emma stopped singing 3 weeks ago. She stopped drawing butterflies 2 weeks ago. And yesterday, Rosa saw Emma flinch when Mr. Blackwell walked past her. That afternoon, Rosa was dusting the playroom upstairs. It was filled with expensive toys, dolls with silk dresses, a rocking horse made of real wood, stuffed animals bigger than Emma herself. But Emma never played with them. Rosa heard a sound, a tiny broken sound, crying. She put down her duster and walked quickly toward the corner of the room. Behind a giant teddy bear, Emma sat on the floor. Her small body was curled up tight. Her hands pressed against her side. Taz ran down her cheeks. "Emma!" Rosa rushed over and knelt down. "Sweetheart, what happened?" Emma looked up. Her eyes were red from crying. Her lips trembled. It hurts?" Emma whispered. Rosa's heart started beating fast. "What hurts, baby? Tell me." Emma's tiny hand pointed to her back, her side, her ribs. "Show me," Rosa said gently. "Please, Emma, let me see." With shaking fingers, Emma lifted her pink shirt just a little bit. Rosa gasped. Bruises. Dark purple and yellow bruises covered Emma's small back. Some were fresh. Some were old and fading. They went up her spine, along her sides, under her ribs. "Oh my God," Rosa breathed. Her hands began to shake. Who? Who did this to you?" Emma started crying harder. She pulled her shirt back down and shook her head fast. "I can't tell. I can't." He said, "Who said Emma? Please, you have to tell me." Emma's voice dropped to the smallest whisper, so quiet that Rosa had to lean in close. Daddy said it wouldn't hurt. Time seemed to stop. Those 5 words crashed into Rosa like a wave. Her stomach twisted. Her throat went dry. "What do you mean, sweetheart? What did Daddy make you do?" Emma sobbed and sobbed. Finally, through her tears, the words came tumbling out. He makes me carry the big boxes from the basement, the heavy ones. He says I need to be strong. He says, I'm weak. He says, her voice cracked. He says, I'm not really his daughter, so I have to earn my place in this house. Rosa felt like someone had punched her in the chest. She pulled Emma close, holding her gently so she wouldn't hurt her more. Emma buried her face in Rosa's shoulder and cried. "How long, baby? How long has this been happening?" 2 months, Emma whimpered. Ever since Mommy started traveling for work, Rosa's mind was racing. Mrs. Blackwell traveled a lot. She was a businesswoman, important meetings, big deals. She was gone for weeks at a time. And when she was gone, Mr. Blackwell became a monster. "Why didn't you tell your mommy?" Rosa asked softly. Emma's answer broke Rosa's heart. "Daddy said if I told, he would send me away. He said Mommy loves him more than me. He said I was adopted, so I don't really belong here. He said if I make trouble, they'll send me back." Rosa felt rage building inside her chest. Hot burning fist. This man, this cruel, horrible man. He was using Emma's biggest fear against her. He was hurting a little girl who just wanted to be loved. "Listen to me," Rosa said, holding Emma's face gently in her hands. "You do belong here. You are loved, and what is doing is wrong. So wrong." "But is rich?" Emma whispered. "He says rich people don't get in trouble. He says his money can fix anything." Rosa shook her head. "Not this time, baby. Not this time." She heard footsteps in the hallway. Heavy, slow, confident, Mr. Blackwell. Rosa quickly helped Emma stand up. "Go to your room," she whispered urgently. "Lock the door. Don't come out until I tell you. But go now." Emma ran, her little feet pattered across the floor. Rosa heard her bedroom door close and the lock click. The playroom door opened. Mr. Blackwell stood there, tall, dressed in an expensive gray suit. His blonde hair was perfectly combed. His blue eyes were cold, ice cold. He looked at Rosa, then he smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Rosa," he said smoothly. "Where's Emma?" Rosa stood up straight. Her hands were still shaking, but she looked him right in the eyes. "She's resting. Her back hurts." Something flashed across his face. Surprise, then anger, then that cold smile again. "Does it?" he said quietly. "Children complain about everything." "She's fine." "No," Rosa said, her voice getting stronger. "She's not fine. I saw the bruises. I know what you've been doing." The smile disappeared. Mr. Blackwell took a step forward. "You don't know anything," he said, his voice dropping low and dangerous. "You're just a help. You clean, you cook. You do what I pay you to do, and you keep your mouth shut." Rose's fear was fighting with her anger. The anger was winning. "That little girl is hurt. You're hurting her, making her carry heavy boxes. At 7 years old, you're breaking her body. You're breaking her spirit." Mr. Blackwell laughed. It was a cold, cruel sound. "She needs to learn. My wife brought her into this house. I never wanted her. But if she's going to stay here, she'll earn it. No child of mine will be weak." "She's not weak," Rosa shouted. "She's a child." "She's not my child," he hissed. "She's adopted my wife's little project, and I'll treat her however I want in my house." Rosa felt something snap inside her. She reached into her apron pocket and pulled out her phone. Mr. Blackwell's eyes went wide. "What do you think you're doing?" he asked slowly. Rose's thumb was already dialing. "Something I should have done weeks ago." His face turned red with rage. "If you make that call, you'll regret it. I'll destroy you. I'll make sure you never work again. I have lawyers. I have judges. I have people who owe me. You're nothing compared to my power." The phone was ringing in Rose's ear. She looked at him. This man who thought his money made him a god. This man who heard a little girl and called it teaching. "Maybe I'm nothing," Rosa said quietly. "But I'm the only one standing between you and that child. And I'm not moving." The phone clicked. 911, what's your emergency?" Rosa took a deep breath. "I need to report child abuse." The operator's voice was calm and professional. "What is the address?" Monsieur Rose's voice shook, but she spoke clearly. 1247, Riverside Manor, the Blackwell estate. "Please hurry. There's a little girl who's been hurt. She needs help. Officers on their way. Stay on the line with me." Mr. Blackwell's face had gone from red to white, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. "Hang up that phone," he said through gritted teeth. "Hang it up right now." Rosa stepped backward, keeping the phone pressed to her ear. "I'm not hanging up, and I'm not leaving this house until the police get here." "You stupid woman!" he exploded. "Do you have a NY idea what you just done? Do you know who I am?" "Yes," Rosa said, her voice steady now. "You're a man who hurts children." "That's who you are." His eyes went dark with fury. He moved toward her, feisted, his expensive shoes thundering across the wooden floor. "I could ruin you with one phone call. One call to my lawyers and you'll lose everything. Your job, your reputation. I'll make sure no one in the city ever hires you again. You will be homeless." Rosa stood her ground even though her legs felt like water. "Then I'll be homeless," she said quietly. "But at least I'll be able to look at myself in the mirror. Can you say the same?" For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Shame, doubt, but then it was gone, replaced by cold rage. "That girl is mine to raise as I see fit." My wife wanted her. I didn't, but I took her in. I gave her a home. Food, clothes, a roof over her head. And this is how she repays me? By being weak. "She's 7 years old," Rosa shouted. "She weighs 50 lb. Those boxes you made her carry were half her size. You weren't teaching her strength. You were breaking her." "I was teaching her reality," he roared back. "The world is hard. Life is cruel. Better she learns now than later." "No," Rosa said, tears streaming down her face now. "You were teaching her that the people who are supposed to love her will hurt her. You were teaching her that she doesn't matter, that she's not worth protecting." The operator's voice came through the phone. "The officers are 3 minutes away." Mr. Blackwell heard it too, his face twisted with panic and rage. "You think the police will deal anything?" He laughed bitterly. "I play golf with the police chief. I donated $1 million to the police department last year. They'll walk in, listen to my side, and leave. And then you'll leave tonight without pay." "We'll see," Rosa whispered. Suddenly, they heard a small voice from the doorway. "Rosa." Both adults turned. Emma stood there, her face pale, her eyes red and puffy from crying. She was holding her stuffed rabbit, the old warm one she'd had since she was 3. The one Mr. Blackwell had tried to throw away because it looked poor. "Baby, I told you to stay in your room," Rosa said gently. "I heard yelling," Emma whispered. "I got scared, Mr. Blackwell's expression changed instantly. He smoothed his suit, fixed his face into a calm smile, and walked toward Emma. "Sweetheart, everything's fine." Rosa just got confused about something. "Why don't you go back to your room?" "Don't touch her," Rosa said sharply, stepping between them. His mask slipped. "Get out of my way." "No." Emma started crying again. "Please don't fight. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not strong enough. I'll try harder. I promise I'll try harder." Rosa's heart shattered. She knelt down and pulled him close, careful of her bruised back. "Listen to me, sweet girl. You don't have to try harder. You don't have to be anything except exactly who you are. You are perfect. You are loved, and what's happening to you is not your fault." "But Daddy said Daddy was wrong," Rosa said firmly, loud enough for Mr. Blackwell to hear. "Adults can be wrong. Even daddies, especially daddies who hurt instead of help." "How dare you?" Mr. Blackwell started. The sound of sirens cut him off. Getting louder, getting closer. Blue and red lights flashed through the tall windows, painting the walls in color. Mr. Blackwell's confidence cracked. He ran to the window and looked out. 2 police cars were pulling up the long driveway. "No," he muttered. No. This isn't, they can't." He spun around and pointed at Rosa. "You tell them you made a mistake. You tell them Emma fell down the stairs. You tell them anything except the truth, and I'll give you $50,000 cash tonight." Rosa stared at him. "You think you can buy my silence? Everyone has a price," he said desperately. $100,000 right now. Just say she fell." "There's not enough money in the world," Rosa said coldly. Heavy footsteps sounded on the front porch. The doorbell rang. Mr. Blackwell straightened his tie, smoothed his hair, and took a deep breath. When he walked to the door and opened it, his face was calm and friendly. "Officers," he said warmly. "Thank goodness you're here. I'm afraid there's been a terrible misunderstanding." 2 police officers stood there. One was older with gray hair and tired eyes. The other was younger, a woman with sharp, intelligent eyes. Mr. Blackwell. The older officer said, "We received a call about child abuse at this address." Mr. Blackwell laughed. It sounded fake. Yes, I heard. My maid Rosa, she's a bit overly emotional. You know how some people are. She saw my daughter had some bruises from playing outside and she panicked. Kids get bruises all the time, don't they?" The female officer's eyes moved past him into the house. "We'd like to speak with the child, please." Of course. "But I assure you, sir," the older officer said firmly, "we need to see the child now." Mr. Blackwell's smile tightened. "Right this way." He led them to the playroom where Rosa still knelt beside Emma. The female officer knelt down too, her voice soft and gentle. "Hi there, sweetheart. What's your name?" "Emma," came the tiny whisper. "Emma, that's a beautiful name. I'm Officer Martinez. Can you tell me what happened? How did you get hurt?" Emma looked at Mr. Blackwell. Fear filled her eyes. "It's okay," Officer Martinez said. "You can tell me the truth. No one's going to be mad at you." Emma's lip trembled. I fell." Rosa's heart sank. Mr. Blackwell smiled. "See? She fell. Kids fall all the time." But Officer Martinez wasn't looking at him. She was looking at Emma's face, at the way her hands twisted together, at the way she kept glancing at Mr. Blackwell with fear. "Emma," the officer said quietly, "where did you fall?" The stays." "Which stays?" Emma hesitated. The front stays." "When did you fall?" Today." "What time today?" Emma started crying. "I don't know. I don't remember." Officer Martinez stood up and looked at the older officer. Something paused between them. An understanding. Mr. Blackwell. The old officer said, "We need to examine the child's injuries." "Absolutely not," Mr. Blackwell snapped. "You have no right." "Actually, sir, we do. When child abuse is reported, we have the authority to examine the child for injuries. You can either cooperate or we can get a court order. Your choice." Mr. Blackwell's face went red again. "This is ridiculous. I'm calling my lawyer." "That's your right, sir. But we're not leaving until we've seen the child's injuries." Rose gently helped them stand. "It's okay, baby. They just need to see your back. They are here to help you." With shaking hands, Emma lifted her shirt. Both officers went silent. The bruises were worse than Rosa had seen before. In the light, they looked even darker, even more painful. Officer Martinez's jaw tightened. The older officer pulled out his radio. "We need child protective services at this location and call for an ambulance. We have a child with significant injuries." "Now wait just a minute," Mr. Blackwell started. "Sir." Officer Martinez turned to him, her voice like steel. "We need you to step over here away from the child. This is my house, and this is an active investigation. Please step back." Mr. Blackwell's hands were shaking now. All his confidence was crumbling. "You don't understand. I was trying to make her strong. My wife, she adopted this girl and she's weak. She needed discipline. She needed love," Rosa said, her voice ringing out clear and strong. She needed protection. She needed a father, not a monster. "How dare you?" The older officer stepped between them. "Sir, I need you to calm down. She's lying. The maid is lying." I didn't mean to." The boxes weren't that heavy. Everyone froze. Officer Martinez looked at him slowly. "What boxes?" Mr. Blackwell's face went white. He just confessed. "I know, I meant you made this child carry heavy boxes," the officer asked. "A 7-year-old girl." The room was silent except for Emma's quiet crying. Mr. Blackwell knew he'd lost. Rosa could see it in his eyes. "I want my lawyer," he said quietly. "You'll get one," Officer Martinez said. She pulled out handcuffs, "But first, you're under arrest." The metallic click of the handcuffs echoed through the playroom. Mr. Blackwell stood frozen, his wrist locked behind his back. The expensive suit that once made him look powerful now just made him look small. "You're making a mistake," he said, his voice shaking. "I have rights. I have connections. I'll be out in an hour. You will see. My lawyers will tear this apart." Officer Martinez looked him straight in the eye. "Sir, you have a right to remain silent. I suggest you use it." Rosa held Emma close, stroking her hair gently. The little girl's tears had soaked through Rosa's uniform, but she didn't care. All that mattered was that Emma was safe now. The older officer spoke into his radio. "Suspect in custody. Child appears to have multiple injuries consistent with ongoing abuse. CPS en route." "No!" Mr. Blackwell suddenly shouted, trying to pull away. "You can't take her. She's my daughter. My wife will." "Your wife will what?" Everyone turned. Standing in the doorway was Mrs. Blackwell. She wore a gray business suit, her briefcase still in her hand. Her dark hair was pulled back tight. Her face was pale with shock. She'd come home early. Rose had sent her a text message 30 minutes ago. Just 3 words. "Emma needs you." Mrs. Blackwell's eyes moved from the police officers to her husband in handcuffs, then finally to Emma, crying in Rose's arms. "Victoria," Mr. Blackwell said quickly, his voice desperate now. "Thank God you're here. This is all a terrible misunderstanding. These officers, they don't understand how we discipline Emma. Tell them we're just teaching her to be strong." "Mommy?" Emma's cry cut through his words like a knife. She tried to run but stumbled, crying out in pain. Her hand flew to her back. Mrs. Blackwell dropped her briefcase. It hit the floor with a loud thud. She rushed forward and fell to her knees, gathering Emma into her arms. "Baby, what's wrong?" "What happened?" Emma sobbed into her mother's shoulder. "It hurts, Mommy. It hurts so much." "What hurts? Show me, please, baby, show me." With trembling hands, Emma lifted her shirt. Mrs. Blackwell gasped. Her hand flew to her mouth. Taz filled her eyes immediately. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God." "How? When?" She looked up at Rosa, her eyes desperate for answers. Rosa's voice was steady but sad. "He's been making her carry heavy boxes from the basement for months. Ever since you started traveling for work. He told her she had to earn her place in this house because she's adopted." Mrs. Blackwell's face crumpled. She looked at her husband, and Rosa saw something break inside her. "You did this." Her voice was barely a whisper. You did this to our daughter." "She's not my daughter," Mr. Blackwell shouted. "You brought her into this house. I never wanted her. I told you adoption was a mistake, but you wouldn't listen. You forced me to accept her, and I did, but I won't let her grow up weak in my house." The room went silent. Emma's crying stopped. She looked up at her father with wide, broken eyes. You never wanted me." Her voice was so small, so hurt. Mrs. Blackwell pulled her closer, her own tears falling now. "Don't listen to him, baby. Don't you dare listen to him." She stood up, still holding Emma, and walked toward her husband. Her voice was low and fierce. "I loved you. I trusted you. I left our daughter with you because I thought you were a good man. I thought your success, your money, your reputation meant something. I was wrong. Victoria, please shut up, she said, her voice like ice. You broke her. You broke this innocent child who only wanted to be loved. You used her biggest fear against her. You told her she didn't belong. What kind of monster does that? Mr. Blackwell's face twisted with anger and shame. I gave her everything. A home, food, clothes, toys. She had more than most kids could ever dream of. She didn't need things. Mrs. Blackwell screamed. She needed a father. She needed someone to protect her, not hurt her. Officer Martinez stepped forward gently. We need to take your daughter to the hospital. Her injuries need to be examined by a doctor. Mrs. Blackwell nodded, wiping her tears. Yes, of course. She looked at Rosa. Will you come with us? Rosa nodded immediately. I'm not leaving her side. Emma reached out and took Rosa's hand with one hand and held her mother with the other. Rosa saved me, Emma whispered. Daddy said no one would believe me. He said his money could fix anything. But Rosa didn't care about his money. She cared about me. Mrs. Blackwell looked at Rosa, her eyes full of gratitude and pain. You saw what I was too blind to see. You were braver than I was. How can I ever thank you? You don't need to thank me, Rosa said softly. I just did what anyone with a heart would do. The older officer began leading Mr. Blackwell toward the door. As he passed his wife and daughter, he tried one last time. Victoria, please, I can change. I can get therapy. I can. You had months to change, Mrs. Blackwell said coldly. You chose to hurt her instead. Now you'll face the consequences. My lawyers will get me out. My money will. Your money, Officer Martinez interrupted. Won't help you this time. We have photographs of the injuries. We have the maid's testimony. We have your confession that you made a 7-year-old carry heavy boxes. And most importantly, we have a broken child who will never forget what you did. No judge will convict me, Mr. Blackwell said desperately. I'm Richard Blackwell. I donated millions to this city. I know everyone. I'm untouchable. The older officer paused at the door and looked back. Sir, I've been a cop for 30 years. I've seen rich men, poor men, powerful men, and weak men. And I've learned one thing. When it comes to hurting children, no one is untouchable. Money doesn't buy innocence. Power doesn't erase bruises. And connections don't heal broken hearts. He pushed Mr. Blackwell through the door. As they walked down the long hallway, Mr. Blackwell's voice echoed back, getting quieter with each step. You will regret this, all of you. I'll make you pay. But his threat sounded empty now. Hollow, powerless. Mrs. Blackwell looked around the mansion. The expensive furniture, the crystal chandeliers, the gold frame paintings. I won't raise her here, she said quietly. This place was never a home. It was just a beautiful prison built on lies and money. She looked down at Emma. We're leaving, baby. We're going somewhere safe, somewhere real. Just you and me and Rosa, if she'll come with us. Rosa's eyes filled with tears. I'll go anywhere with you both. Emma looked up at her mother, then at Rosa. For the first time in months, a tiny smile appeared on her face. Really? We can leave. Really? Mrs. Blackwell promised. We're leaving this house. We're leaving him and we're starting over. Officer Martinez smiled. There's an ambulance waiting outside. Let's get Emma checked out first and then you can figure out your next steps. Together, the three of them walked down the grand staircase. Behind them, the mansion stood silent and empty. All the money in the world couldn't buy back what Mr. Blackwell had destroyed. As they stepped through the front doors into the warm evening air, Emma looked up at Rosa. It still hurts, she whispered. But I'm not scared anymore. Rosa kissed the top of her head. That's because you're safe now, sweet girl, and you're going to stay safe forever. Mrs. Blackwell held her daughter close with one arm and put her other arm around Rosa. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for being the mother I should have been. Thank you for being brave when I was blind. Rosa squeezed her hand. We're going to be okay, all three of us together. And as they walked toward the ambulance, away from the mansion and the monster who had lived there, Emma said something that made both women cry. I think I want to draw butterflies again. If this story touched your heart, we need your help to share it. Smash that like button if you believe Rosa did the right thing. Comment below. Do you think money should ever excuse abuse? Have you ever had to stand up for someone who couldn't stand up for themselves? What would you have done in Rosa's position? Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our powerful stories about courage, justice, and hope. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose life you might change. Remember, if you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, speak up. You could be someone's Rosa. You could be the O person who makes a difference. Watch next more true stories that will restore your faith in humanity. Your support keeps these important stories alive. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next